This thing that you were saying about these cave paintings that show these animals, can we find those?
You probably could, yeah. I'm sure there's something documented on the net, more than me just saying they look similar. I'm sure there's something like that.
The supernatural is like this sneaky thread woven through our world, popping up in the most surprising places. Think about it. Those mysterious symbols on ancient ruins or bizarre artifacts tucked away in old museum corners. What if they're not just figments of imagination?
Like whether they were a spiritual person or animal or being is hard to say, but you hear stories about the hairy people.
What if they're real pieces of our history, waiting for us to unravel their secrets? Could it be that the supernatural is way more embedded in our past than we ever thought? 1. The shape-shifting therianthropes of Colombia. In the Colombian Amazon, on a rugged stretch called the Serranía de la Lindosa, rock art reveals intriguing half-human, half-animal figures known as therianthropes. These ancient drawings show shape-shifting creatures like human-bird hybrids, human deer, and human sloth, blending human traits with animal features. It's like flipping through an old mythology book where gods and guardians shift forms to interact with the world. These therianthropes might have been seen as gods or protectors in their time. 2. The Offington White Horse. The Offington White Horse is a massive 374-foot-long figure carved into the chalk hillside of the Berkshire Downs over 3,000 years ago. Some people think it might have acted as a liminal lens, sort of a bridge between heaven and earth. Right next to it is Dragon Hill, which is super legendary. Medieval tales say this is where St. George took down a dragon that was causing havoc across England. How cool is that? John Aubrey, a trailblazing archaeologist, thought the White Horse might have been a symbol for early Saxon kings around AD 500, possibly used as a marker for their conquests. And get this, there's even a fun belief that if you stand on the horse's eye and spin around 3 times while making a wish, it might just come true. Magic and history all rolled into one. 3. The Wandjina Sky Beings. In Australia's ancient rock art, the Wandjina are these mysterious figures carved over 4,000 years ago. With their dark eyes and white faces, they often seem to sport halos. Aboriginal legends say the Wandjina were mighty spirits who came to Earth 60,000 years ago, taking over a huge area they called the Land of the Wandjina. These spirits weren't just about rule, they were also tied to nature, believed to control clouds and rain. According to tradition, the Wandjina created everything, animals first, then humans. It's said that their depictions mark sacred sites, and you can't enter these places without a custodian who must call out the names of anyone entering, so the spirits know who's around. 4. The Dyson Kofun of Japan. In the bustling city of Osaka, Japan, you'll find the Dyson Kofun, a massive tomb that's quite the sight. This giant burial mound, which covers over 400,000 square meters, is the largest tomb by area in the world. It's one of the many keyhole-shaped kofun, those unique tomb mounds only found in Japan. What's cool is that these keyhole shapes are best seen from the sky, making you wonder if there's a reason for that. Some think it's because the Japanese royal family, believed to be descended from sky gods, wanted to make sure their resting places were visible from above. 5. The Stargate to another dimension. Nestled in Egypt, the Temple of Hathor is more than just a stunning piece of ancient architecture. It's a site of divine, feminine energy. This place is believed to have been the center of sacred initiations, but only for priestesses in a matriarchal culture. So, it's all about that powerful, divine feminine vibe. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Some people think the intricate carvings and astronomical alignments might actually be a portal to another dimension. Imagine that. Then there's the whole theory about ancient alien technology. Yep, some believe that extraterrestrials might have lent a hand with the temple's advanced design and cosmic knowledge. And if that's not enough, others argue that the temple was a magical power center where ancient magicians performed rituals and possibly reached out to otherworldly beings. 6. The Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. The Buddha's tooth is more than just an ancient relic. It's wrapped in fascinating mysteries. The tooth contains sariras, tiny pearl-like relics that are harder than diamonds. When you magnify them 1,000 times, they're truly breathtaking. What's even more mind-blowing is that while the tooth itself is around 2,500 years old, these sariras are thought to be over 3 billion years old. Tests reveal they have incredible thermal conductivity, way better than diamonds. Plus, there's a local belief that the tooth has the power to bring rain, adding an extra layer of mystique to this already extraordinary relic. 7. The Cloak of the Prophet Muhammad. The Cloak of the Prophet Muhammad isn't just a revered relic, it's believed to have some pretty supernatural qualities. People think this cloak, which dates back centuries, holds divine blessings and magical power. It's been linked to miracles and is thought to offer protection and comfort to those who cherish it. Worn by the Prophet during significant events, its survival over the ages is seen as a sign of its sacred nature. When it's displayed, many feel a strong spiritual connection, as if touching a piece of the divine. It's more than just history, it's a living symbol of spiritual power. 8. The Nazca Lines. The Nazca Lines in Peru are one of those mind-bending mysteries that just can't be ignored. These massive geoglyphs etched into the desert floor feature everything from giant spiders and monkeys to massive birds and even an alien-like figure. These lines are best seen from the sky. The question that always comes up is, how did the ancient Nazca people, without airplanes or drones, create these enormous designs with such precision? Some speculate that these lines might have been markers or pathways for supernatural beings or gods, or even used for ritualistic purposes that connected them to celestial events. Spiny oysters that were likely used in ceremonies or as offerings to bring rain have been found at Nazca sites. This connects the geoglyphs to a deeper ritualistic purpose. Some theories even suggest that the lines were messages or signals to extraterrestrials or part of a grand celestial map. 9. The Supernatural Wonders in Ukiyo-e Woodblock Prints. Ukiyo-e, the classic Japanese woodblock prints, aren't just about beautiful landscapes and elegant courtesans, they also dive into the supernatural. These prints, popular from the 17th to 19th centuries, often feature eerie and mystical elements that give a glimpse into Japan's rich folklore. You might see fearsome sea spirits like the umibozu, known for its enormous size and dark, stormy presence. The umibozu is said to appear on calm seas, suddenly conjuring violent storms. It's often depicted as a towering, shadowy figure with a menacing, round head. Some prints even showcase mythical beasts like the kappa, a water demon with a penchant for mischief. These artworks capture more than just ghostly tales. They reflect deep-rooted cultural beliefs about the supernatural and offer a peek into the mysterious and mystical side of Japanese folklore. 10. The Martian gods of Tassili Naja. Out in the Sahara Desert, there's this spot called Tassili Naja. It's packed with ancient rock paintings and carvings, and some of them are pretty mind-blowing. Among the usual scenes of animals and people, there are these massive figures that look like they're floating or levitating. They've been dubbed Martian gods by some folks because honestly, they do have an otherworldly vibe. 11. The Fairy Flag of Dunvegan. The Fairy Flag of Dunvegan is one of those artifacts that makes you think magic might just be real. This ancient banner, kept at Dunvegan Castle on the Isle of Skye, is wrapped in legends and supernatural tales. The flag, which is said to be a gift from fairies, is rumored to have some seriously mystical powers. According to local lore, the flag has protected the MacLeod clan in times of dire need. It's said that when unfurled in battle, it could summon fairy magic to help the clan or even bring them victory. Some stories claim that the flag was once used to save the clan from certain defeat, its magical properties turning the tide in their favor. 12. The Ancient City of Guj. The ancient kingdom of Guj in Tibet is like something straight out of a fantasy novel. This lost city was abandoned around 1630. Ruins of palaces and temples dot the landscape, and the surrounding cliffs and caves add to the place's eerie charm. Legends say that Guj's rulers were deeply connected to spiritual practices, with tales of mystical beings and otherworldly visitors. The city is rumored to have had secret tunnels leading deep into the earth. This had led to the belief that the entire civilization vanished because they embarked on a pilgrimage to Shambhala, a mythical holy city said to be hidden deep beneath the surface. 13. The Maya Stellae. The Maya Stellae, or the Mayan celestial ladder, is steeped in mystery and supernatural lore. Imagine enormous stone structures arranged with such precision that many believe they weren't just built by human hands alone. Legend has it that the Stellae wasn't just a physical structure, but a spiritual one too, a conduit between the earthly and divine realms. Some say it allowed shamans or priests to communicate directly with the gods or even ascend to otherworldly dimensions. The intricate carvings on the stelae, depicting celestial beings and cosmic events, hint at its role as a bridge between our world and the universe beyond, blending the physical and mystical in a way that's both awe-inspiring and mind-boggling. 14. The Stone of Destiny. Legend has it that the Lia Fail, or Stone of Destiny, was one of 4 magical gifts brought to the mortal world by the Tuatha De Danann, a mythical race in Irish folklore. These beings, children of the goddess Dana, also gifted a sword, a spear, and a cauldron. Over time, these gifts became iconic in British mythology, showing up in tales like the Holy Grail and the Spear of Destiny. In tarot, they're reflected as the suits, lances, cups, swords, and shields. The Lia Fail is said to have roared when the true King of Ireland was near, recognizing the rightful ruler. But the stone lost its roar when Christ was born. There's also a prophecy that the stone would ensure the land it rested on would be ruled by the Scots or Irish. 15. The Serpent Mound. The Serpent Mound in Ohio is one of those places that just oozes mystery. Shaped like a massive winding snake, it's always fascinated people. But recently, researchers discovered something new, a hidden part of the serpent that you can't see from above. Using a magnetometer, they found another coil, just as big and perfectly shaped as the others. This means the serpent might have been even longer originally, with part of it erased over time. What's really cool is how the mound lines up with the summer solstice. On the longest day of the year, if you stand in the right spot, the serpent's neck points directly at the setting sun. For the Fort ancient people who built this about 1,000 years ago, this alignment likely helped them track the seasons, crucial for planting and harvesting crops. 16. The Bermuda Triangle. We've all heard of the Bermuda Triangle, right? That infamous stretch of ocean between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, where ships and planes seem to vanish without a trace. Well, over 300 ships and planes are said to have vanished in this eerie stretch of ocean, fueling a slew of supernatural theories. Some suggest extraterrestrials are using the triangle as a sort of interdimensional portal, abducting vessels and aircraft. Others speculate about time warps, where ships slip into different eras or dimensions. There are also theories linking the area to lost Atlantean technology, which supposedly disrupts navigation. But here's a grounded theory. The region is covered with reefs that rise right to the surface. Ships that hit these reefs can easily sink, which might explain the triangle's spooky reputation. 17. The Guardians of Allegria. The Guardians of Allegria were like the mythological protectors of ancient Andean cultures, especially the Inca. These legendary figures weren't just any old protectors. They were all about keeping things in balance and ensuring everyone lived happily. They were the ultimate peacekeepers, watching over the land and its people to make sure everything stayed harmonious and prosperous. Alegria means joy or happiness in Spanish, so these guardians were basically the embodiment of keeping good vibes and positive energy flowing. They played a crucial role in making sure both the spiritual and physical sides of life were in tip-top shape. So, in the grand scheme of Andean mythology, they were all about protecting the community's peace and joy. 18. The Snake Goddess. Meet the Snake Goddess, a major figure from ancient Minoan Crete. She's not just a relic. She was a big deal back in her day. Discovered by the archaeologist Arthur Evans at Knossos, she's been making waves with her dramatic presence. Evans was quite taken with her, even if he did comment a bit primly about her matronly bosom. This goddess, along with her smaller sidekick known as the Votress, is decked out in some seriously stylish gear. They're adorned with intricate jewelry and bold makeup, but despite the glamour, there's something a bit wild and untamed about her. The snake goddess isn't just about looking pretty, she's fierce. Her wide-eyed stare and the massive snake wrapped around her from waist to headdress show that she was more about commanding respect and instilling awe than spreading affection. 19. The 3,500-year-old Babylonian Tablet. This small, hand-sized ancient Babylonian artifact is mostly incomplete, but it still offers a glimpse into ancient ghost-busting techniques. The surviving part of the tablet details a ritual for getting rid of troublesome ghosts. To perform this exorcism, you'd need to make figurines of a man and woman, prepare 2 vessels of beer, and at sunrise, recite some specific words to invoke Shamash, the Mesopotamian god who handled ghostly matters. The goal? To transfer the ghost into one of the figurines. And there's a spooky twist at the end. Don't look behind you. It's probably a tip for handling the figurines, but who knows? It might also be advice for the exorcist to stay focused. This tablet was probably crafted by a skilled artisan and might have been used in temples or by exorcists as a handy guide for dealing with the supernatural. 20. The Ghosts of the Tower of London. Tower Green at the Tower of London isn't just a historic spot, it's also a hotspot for ghost stories. Rumor has it that the spirits of Anne Boleyn, Margaret Pole, and the 2 boy princes have been spotted here. Anne Boleyn, King Henry VIII's ill-fated second wife, is said to wander the grounds, her ghostly presence marked by the lingering sadness of her tragic end. Margaret Pole, who met her end during the Tudor dynasty, is also reported to make appearances, alongside the 2 young princes who vanished mysteriously. 21. The Karnak Temple. Karnak Temple in Egypt is more than just a massive ancient structure. It's wrapped in all kinds of supernatural myths. People have long believed that the temple is a hotbed for mystical activity. For instance, some say that the temple's grand halls and towering statues are not just relics of the past, but also gateways to the divine. Legends tell of gods walking among the columns and whispering secrets through the hieroglyphs. There's also talk of powerful spirits and ancient magic lingering within its walls. 22. Shamanic Visions. People think cave paintings might be the work of shamans who are using altered states of consciousness to create their art. When shamans went into trances, often through rituals or substances, they'd see visions of mystical beings and symbols. They then painted these visions on cave walls. This idea lines up with what we know from modern lab results on hallucinogens. People see similar patterns and shapes. These ancient artworks, called phosphonies, might have been a way for shamans to document their otherworldly experiences. 23. The Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is one of those intriguing relics that always sparks a mix of awe and skepticism. This linen cloth, thought to be from the 1st century, is famous for bearing the image of a man who appears to have been crucified, and many believe it's the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. The mystery deepens with the image itself. It's not painted, but seems to be a sort of negative image, which has baffled scientists and historians alike. Over the years, various tests have been done to determine its authenticity, but debates continue. Some argue it's a medieval creation, while others insist it's an authentic artifact from ancient times. But a recent study found that the aging of the shroud's flax fibers matches that of 1st century samples. So, if these results hold, the shroud's material could date back nearly to the era of Christ himself. 24. Mysteries of the Orkney Stone Circles. The ancient stone circles of the Orkney Islands date back over 5,000 years. Scattered across the Orkney archipelago in Scotland, these stones come with some pretty intriguing lore. Take the Ring of Brodgar, for example. This massive circle of stones is thought to have been used for ceremonies or rituals, and its precise alignment with the solstices hints at some serious astronomical know-how. Locals have long whispered about these stones, being remnants of ancient magic or portals to otherworldly realms. Then there's the stones of Stennis, another nearby circle, which is equally mysterious. The legend suggests these stones might be tied to ancient gods or spirits, and their position might have been designed to connect the heavens with the earth. 25. The Bimy Road. Off the coast of Bimini in the Bahamas. The Bimy Road, an underwater formation, looks like a perfectly aligned road or pathway. Some believe it's the remnants of a lost city, maybe even Atlantis. They think the road is part of an ancient civilization that sank beneath the waves. Others get a bit more sci-fi, suggesting that aliens might have built it or used it as some sort of landing strip or interdimensional portal. What really gets the imagination going is how the rocks fit together almost like a jigsaw puzzle. With all these straight lines and right angles you just don't see in nature. On the flip side, there are more down-to-earth theories. Geologists argue it's just a natural formation of limestone, shaped by ocean currents over time. 26. The Baalbek's Trilithon. Baalbek's Trilithon is one of those sites that make you wonder about ancient mysteries. Located in Lebanon, this place is home to some of the largest stone blocks ever used in construction. We're talking about massive slabs weighing up to 800 tons each. Just imagine moving and stacking these giants without modern machinery. The size and precision of the Trilithon have led to all sorts of supernatural theories. Some think these enormous stones were placed by aliens or an advanced ancient civilization. The idea is that moving and aligning these blocks would have been way beyond the technology of the time. It must have been the result of divine intervention or ancient high-tech gadgets. 27. The Grota Deno. The Grota Deno in France is a fascinating cave that takes you deep into the prehistoric world. This spot, hidden in the Pyrenees, is home to some incredible ancient art that's over 14,000 years old. The cave's walls are covered in detailed paintings of animals like bison, horses, and deer, crafted with such skill that they almost seem to come alive. But it's not just the art that makes Deno special, it's the mystical interpretations that surround it. Some believe these artworks weren't just for decoration, but were part of shamanic rituals. The cave's remote location and intricate designs suggest that the ancients used it as a sacred space to connect with the spiritual world. 28. The sacred Mount Shasta. In 1999, Carl Anders vanished on Mount Shasta, sparking a real mystery. Despite extensive searches, no trace of him was found, leaving everyone puzzled. The usual suspects, like animal attacks or mental health issues, were ruled out after thorough investigations. What makes this case even stranger is the area where he disappeared. Between the 50-50 campsite and Lake Helen, the terrain is a solid snowfield with no hiding spots. This means there's no obvious place where Carl could have slipped away or hidden. Local Native American beliefs add another layer of intrigue. They view the land above the tree line as sacred and warn against venturing there. With so many unexplained disappearances in the region, some think Carl might have encountered something supernatural. We're always trying to figure out the why behind everything. But when it comes to some things, the more we look, the more mysterious they seem. What do you think keeps us drawn to the unknown?